Hello there! Today we're talking about the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas, especially this book that just came out a month ago. And most of you probably have heard of Throne of Glass if you've spent any time on BookTube. But the Throne of Glass series is a series by Sarah J Maas, and it's a YA fantasy series, and it's a 6-book series plus a novella collection, which is an essential read for the series. And the series stars an assassin who joins these court games, and the story really expands from the first book, so it's really hard to describe the series as a whole. But there are a lot of characters in the end, and the characters go all over this high fantasy world. And it's very light on the fantasy side, at least at first. So if you're new to the fantasy genre, I think this would be a great series to start with. And I'd like to preface this whole review thing by saying that right now I'm not the hugest fan of the series anymore. But I know that many people are still loving the series, and I did like the first books. So if you can check out some reviews of the first book or something, so if you're interested, just really give it a go, because it's a really fun series all in all. And I think what really shows this is the popularity that it has been gaining over the years. And it's something that if you haven't read Throne of Glass, you're really missing out on something, even if it's just the discussion. So if you haven't read books 1 to 5 in the Throne of Glass series, I'd really recommend staying away, because I will probably be spoiling something. I'm not going to spoil Empire of Storms, but I'm probably going to be spoiling something about the series, so bye bye! So this book really shows that we've really come so far in this series, like from the first book, where it started as Selena, as an assassin going through these games, and really Sarah J Maas building up her character and her backstory, and other characters like Kale and Dorian. And although Sarah J Maas really tries to go around the circle and really pull all those stories together in this one, I think we can see how far the story has gotten from the first book, and how they're really not similar at all anymore. The shift in the series happened somewhere around Airfire. The first 2 books are still my favorites, and I kind of liked the story. I liked where it was going at times, but it was really slow, and we really didn't get to see the Selena's assassin side, which I really liked in Crown of Midnight. And the story really went downhill for me in Queen of Shadows, which was too long but entertaining, even though I found a lot of the plot points really ridiculous, and I really don't enjoy Rowan as a love interest, which he became in Queen of Shadows. I really like the platonic relationship between Selena and him, or Aelin and him. But I have to say, Empire Storms is a highlight in my disappointment towards this series. So you could argue that Throne of Glass wasn't that great, but for me, I read it a few years ago, I think 2014, I think, and to me it was still quick and fun fantasy. It was exciting, and it kept me glued to the pages because it was short enough to be read in 1 or 2 days, or even in one sitting. And I found the novellas were really something important to the story, and I really liked Selena's character growth from those novellas to the end of Crown of Midnight. But when the story started changing in Airfire, Sarah J Maas really started to lose me and lose my interest. Now the books are longer, there are much more POVs, and apart from the sex, yeah, nothing really happens. Sure, this just might be my opinion, but but a few fights here and there doesn't really make a good plot. We don't really even see the big bad guy in this book, and everything that happens is apparently written in the stars and is fate and everything, and nothing really happens because of the wits of characters, but because of prophecies and goddesses playing games. I really liked Selena when she was Selena, but Aileen has really lost me, and I find her really annoying and bitchy, and I just can't care anymore. I don't care about her powers or her magical beauty or her past anymore that much. And the most interesting female character in the series right now is Lysandra, because when she can shapeshift to whatever she wants, that's really exciting. Yeah, really the only woman I really root for right now. Another thing I have to talk about is, why does every single one of these main characters have to be royalty or an heir to this castle or that heritage or something like that? It's stupid and it's boring, and I just why does everyone have to be royalty? Half of this book is just like beautiful royalty and brooding fae males just like bickering and like keeping secrets from another. And I know Sarah J Maas loves her brooding fae males, but I'm so over it. I can't anymore. And I think the writing in this one, it's consistent with her other work, I think. She just keeps like bloating her novels, that I think if the first two books were like 330 pages, something like that, something like under 400, I think she works best at under 400, because this story at 700 pages doesn't work that well. The whole plot is just like characters interacting with each other and some fights here and there, and that makes for a really boring book and a plot that even the end doesn't save. And maybe my problem with this is that I don't really care about the characters anymore that much, and that might be where this book really fails people, because I think Maas just fails to like make me really care. And maybe the biggest part of why I really didn't enjoy Empire of Storms that much is that every single character has to be in a relationship. They have to be like lusting over someone, or have to look at someone's sensual mouth, or wicked hips, or sinful breasts, or something like that. And I don't care. I don't want this plot to move in a direction where just everything is about like relationships and flirting and more. A lot of more. I think where Empire of Storms goes really the wrong way is that Sarah J Maas has really maybe confused her two series. If you're not familiar with the Court of Thorns and Roses series, it's another series by her where it's more of new adult, so there's a lot of more sex in it, and that's where Empire of Storms was also going. If you compare the sex scene in Crown of Midnight to sex in Empire of Storms, it's like a whole new different series. Like, prepare for the cringiest sex scenes Maas has ever put to page. And my problem isn't with the more explicit sex scenes, it's that she should have had consistency, because if you compare the earlier books to this one, the gap is huge, and if there are like 12-year-olds reading this book, I don't think this would be something that their parents would be really proud of them reading, because it goes really far, and I've gotta say, it made me really uncomfortable. Like, if I wanted explicit sex, I would turn to the Actor series. I don't see the point why this book had to be just about characters building up sexual tension and flirting with each other, and why every person has to be with someone, and ultimately if they want to be with someone, they want to be with someone like to the like really have sex with them, not just like be flirting in an innocent way. And why do orgasms have to have the power to shatter trees or like turn sand to glass? What? I don't ever want to read about everyone's sensuous and sinful mouths or mind-shattering blowjobs ever again. No thank you. So hopefully I didn't go too far, but all in all, I didn't think Empire of Storms would resurrect my earlier love for the series. But it was even more disappointing than I would have liked it to be. Queen of Shadows was still entertaining entertaining in an irritating way. Empire of Storms wasn't really even entertaining anymore. I read it for like 3 weeks. I am going to finish the series because I've dedicated so much time to it, and I actually really like talking about the series, even if I am on the kind of hater side. And don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on Sarah J Maas or any fans here. This is just purely my feelings toward this book and the series right now. And I'm really sad that I didn't end up really liking this series. We'll see on the last book. I really hope that it will be something worth reading and enjoyable, but right now my hopes aren't that high. So on that note, I'll say goodbye.